right quick, I want to do this video. A lot of people are agreeing with Donnie Swagger and what he said about the black church. I'm seeing a lot of people are agreeing with him. He's right. It's not about race. He ain't racist. He's not being a bigot. He's right. He's right. Of course they are agreeing with him. Most of them people that are agreeing with him are Trump supporters. It's a whole lot of people are supporting Trump. So of course they're gonna flood into these different sites and say he's right. He's right. He's right. He telling the truth about the black church. He telling. Well, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm gonna say he's not right because of his outlook on politics. Y'all people are saying he's right because a lot of people have turned to Trump in the last few years. A lot of people have been persuaded to vote Republican. That's fine and dandy. Vote for who you want to vote for. But how you looking at how you judging he's right? I'm looking at the comment sections on everybody that's covering it. Everybody that agreeing with him are saying he's right, but I'm seeing people who try to engage with them people who are agreeing, they won't come back and engage. He's right about the black church. They vote them. Okay, people can vote the way they want to vote. Who is he to stand up in the pulpit and try to rebuke somebody for not voting the way he think they ought to vote? That's manipulation. Everybody is free to vote for who they want to vote for. When you try to use the Bible to steer people into voting one way or the other, you wrong. Nobody has that authority. Now, a lot of them people that's agreeing with Donnie Swagger, if a Democratic preacher came out and preached that way against the Republicans, do you think they would agree with the Democrat? Who is he to tell us how to vote? I'm in the middle. I'm not voting for nobody. I'm not incogent. Is that true? It's awful how we view what's right when it comes to the word of God. We view what's right or wrong according to who said, what position they coming from. I've been following the Swaggers for like 20-some years. I've been out here driving this truck. I've been listening to these people on and off for years. They never have preached against the sins of the conservative party. They have never. Donnie Swagger said he preached against the conservatives that turned against Trump. Who is he? Who gave him that authority to rebuke people over politics? Then he tried to rebuke people over not voting. He spoke on that a few weeks ago, trying to condemn people for not voting. Who gave him that authority to do that? The Bible ain't said nothing about rebuking people over politics. The Bible ain't said that. He doesn't have that authority to rebuke anybody over Truth be told, he If you're gonna rebuke somebody, rebuke people over politics, he need to be rebuking people over voting for either one of these candidates. But is he doing that? No. He a hardcore Trump supporter. He a hardcore conservative. He have strongly put his political views in the pulpit. Now, the same conservative people who are voting for Donald Trump, they can't stand the thought of any Democratic president, any Democratic preacher endorsing Ms. Harris or preaching or supporting Ms. Harris or whatever. They can't stand that, but yet they turn right around and say Donnie Swagger is right. How is that? I'm inviting anybody on my channel to send me a comment explaining this. 2 Timothy chapter 2. Now, this Apostle Paul Paul wrote 2 epistles to Timothy, instructing him what to do and how to carry out even through his ministry. Paul gave Timothy and Titus authority to rebuke the naysayers, rebuke anybody that come against the scriptures. Over in Titus, Paul said, rebuke them sharply. Their mouths must be stopped. So, yes, a preacher have authority to rebuke, but over what? A preacher don't have authority to rebuke over politics, even though you try to drive the two together. The Bible don't get that authority. For him to stand up in the pulpit and try to rebuke people over not voting for Trump, he don't have that authority. People have cheap Christianity nowadays. People is putting politics over the scriptures. I'm not a conservative. I can't stand a conservative. I'm an independent. I'm more of a Democrat, but I'm more towards the middle. I don't set horses all the way with Democrats. The conservatives put American rights and all this other rights before God. God comes second. They put gun rights and all that stuff before God. And the Bible really tells us not to even consider saving our life for any type of reason. But they want gun rights, my right, my First Amendment rights and all this stuff. What about the Bible? This is how they view. This is how they view faith. The faith. It comes second or third behind what the forefathers gave us, our First Amendments. Second Timothy, chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Rightly dividing the word of truth. Not dividing politics, not sharing, preaching politics, but the word of truth. Now you might want they believe in abortions. They believe in this. Yeah, that's right. But the Bible don't stop at abortion when you want to talk about sin. You notice how he stood up there and just repeated the same campaign tactics. That's what they've been repeating. They church platform is a right right-wing platform. Now, that same Donnie Swagger has never invited any Democratic preachers on their platform to discuss politics. He ain't never done it. I hope after this, I hope the church do this. Donnie Swagger is a coward. He ain't never subjected himself to a biblical debate with different views, like an independent preacher views or a Democrat. He ain't gonna do it. That man don't know the scriptures like his daddy know. His dad done got old and fever, and his children took over. But I've been watching the Swaggers for over 20-some years. They had never preached the gospel. They only preached right-wing politics and try to twist the Bible to fit their narratives. People in the comment section, he's right. It ain't about bigotry. It ain't about, he's right. How he's right when he ain't never put his mouth against his own party? Not righteously. He admit to putting his mouth against his own party for not supporting Donald Trump. The man don't have that authority. If you want to tell the truth, tell the truth. He don't have that authority. Nobody has the right to stand up in the pulpit and criticize and rebuke anybody over voting. Paul said, rebuke them, the naysayers. Rebuke the false prophets. Bishop Sheard, although I don't agree with a lot of stuff they do, I got video. Bishop Sheard have every right to stand up in the church and endorse Mrs. Harris. Just like the Swaggers are standing up in church and proudly endorsing the conservatives. He don't have that power to rebuke anybody over there. He can counter if he want to push Donald Trump. He can do it. But to put his mouth, to stand up in that pulpit and boldly put his mouth against anybody for supporting Mrs. Harris or supporting Obama or the Democrat, he's 100%, 1,000% wrong. It don't matter what you people in the comment section say. Y'all don't read the Bible. Y'all have preferred selected truths. He right. He's right. He's right. He right. Where is he right? I see people in the comments section trying to engage them people who's standing with him. They won't talk about it. Let's let you know that they don't really know the truth. They believe in killing babies. They believe the same old run-of-the-mill tactics. But okay, since you want to talk about sin, let's talk about sin. Let's talk about greed, Donnie Swagger. Let's talk about adultery. Let's talk about bearing false witness, which is lying. Let's talk about selfishness. Let's talk about how y'all have robbed the people over the years to build your empire, personal empire. Isn't that against God? Of course it is. You ain't never hear them. You ain't gonna never hear them preach against greed, selfishness. Jesus was very passionate about the poor. How often have you heard the Swaggers preaching against selfishness, greed? Not. How often have you heard them preach giving to the poor? The reason why they support Donald Trump because he's just like them. They supported Bush for the same reason, but Bush didn't really do what they wanted him to do. They have them hardcore Southern Dixiecrat values. They can't stand the way the country is going as far as politics. They cannot stand the thought of a black woman, a woman of color running this country. We can't ignore that. That's an issue. We can't ignore this. Them same people that are saying Donnie Swagger is right. I'm gonna say he's halfway right, but halfway right don't edify nobody. Being halfway right is not beneficial to God or nobody. You can't be halfway. The Bible say, rightly divided the word of truth. Rightly divided. So you dividing the word of truth from a political standpoint. You'll gladly, boldly stand up in the pulpit and preach against the sinful Democrats. But you have years and years to stand up in the pulpit. Since he took over his daddy's ministry, he ain't never preached rightly against his own party. He called them out for personal reasons. Called him out for not standing with Donald Trump. You don't have that authority. People that go to churches now ain't biblical, don't care about the Bible. People that strongly follow politics one way or the other. They don't really care. When they're gonna prefer one preacher over another. I'm not against anybody vote for who they want to vote for, but to stand up there and attack people and preachers for supporting Miss Harris, he's out of line. It don't matter how much people say he's right. He's right. He won the black church. He's right. People have a right to support who they want to support. If you're going to be true about the matter, he will preach against both parties, both candidates, because neither one align with the scriptures. Is he rightly dividing the word of truth? No, he's not. Bishop Shear and all them just said who they supported. They don't attack people for supporting Donald Trump. They just said we supporting her. You supporting baby killing. You supporting the Conservative Party are guilty of doing that and more. They can't never bring themselves to chastise or rebuke their own party. Greed. Let's look at all the sin. I've been sounding this alarm about the swaggers for years. They sit on their platform, sunlight broadcast, and just talk one-sided. They very heavily politic-laden, but they just preach one side. They never invite other preachers to come on their show and discuss the Bible. They're not going to give that room. They're not going to give that room. People might see the truth. They control the narrative. They just like conservative right-wing media. They control the narrative. You think you're going to go on their show and have a biblical discussion and kind of, against them? No, you ain't going to do it. They ain't finna give you that chance. They'll bring you on that show if you're talking against Miss Harris or you talking against Obama. They'll bring you on there. He'll stand up in the pulpit like A.R. Williams and all them. They'll stand up in the pulpit and preach against the Democrats and won't allow anybody to challenge them. So it make it look like they right. Donnie Swagger don't have that authority. And I don't care how much people are agreeing with him. He overstepping his boundaries. Bishop Shear, Jamal Brown, all them, they might be wrong for supporting Miss Harris. But you can't use that Bible to condemn them folks. You can't stand up in the pulpit and condemn that man or them people for supporting that woman. Them people are Southern bigots. Y'all can, people can support whoever they want to support and be free, but they feel like they have the authority to command and demand people to do what they want them to do. Give me the Bible, show me, and come on my channel and show me with scripture where he's right. Quit all this, he's right, he's wrong, without our opinion. Show up scriptures. Halfway right, preaching selected truths ain't a benefit to nobody. The Bible say rightly dividing the word of truth. Now, if you want to rightly divide the word of truth with politics, you have to be in the middle. You certainly can't take this Bible and try to rebuke anybody for voting for who they want to vote for. You don't have biblical authority. You rebuke people. You rebuke the false prophets. You rebuke the gangsters that are preaching against the scriptures, that are preaching against God. That's where you rebuke it. His own audience really wasn't buying it. They weren't trying to go along with that stuff. Churches have become too heavily laden with politics. That's on both sides. Bishop Wooden stand up in the pulpit. All them conservative preachers boldly stand up in the pulpit and condemn and rebuke anybody for voting Democrat. They don't have that authority. At the end of the day, they don't have that authority. It don't matter how much we say they right. He didn't tell no lie. I detect no lie. But it ain't all the way true either. So when you preaching preferred truths or selected truths, is it the truth? It's not the truth. You being biased. You being biased. As if the conservative parties are angels. As if they are sinless. As if they don't have no fault. Conservatives, believers, conservative voters commit just as much sin as the Democrats. They have abortions. They live in adultery. They lie. They do everything against the Bible. The Bible really tells us to avoid politics, avoid anything that has to do in this world. Just live in the world, but be separated from the world. That's including politics. Avoid the affairs of this world. Avoid the affairs of this world. Be in the world, but not of the world. Do everything opposite of what the world do. We shouldn't be worried about politics. Politics should just be a vanity thing. People vote for who they want to go out there and vote for who they want to vote for and be over with. A preacher stand up in the pulpit, he's a fake preacher. He's a fake preacher. A lot of you ain't never heard of the Swaggers until now. Or you heard of the Swaggers years ago about his daddy. But a lot of you don't follow the Swaggers. Y'all just jumping on his train because he support Trump and y'all support Trump. But y'all can't stand the thought of anybody preaching against Donald Trump in the conservatives. Y'all can't stand. They just show you how corrupt y'all are. He's right. I ain't take no lie. The black church need to come up. Well, you had a white church, a white hardcore white southern church like that preaching Donald Trump. Is he really dividing the word of God rightly? When they never preach biblically against their own party? You covering their sins. You turning a blind eye, a deaf ear to the sins of the conservative party, but yet you're going to stand and preach against the Democrats year round. That's not rightly dividing the word of God. The swaggers are heading to hell for doing that. They are heading to hell for being greedy dogs. That's why they support Donald Trump and serve. They hold to them Southern Dixiecrat values. They might be labeled conservatives, but they believe in white supremacy. You can hear it coming out of their voice. They're just the truth. I stand with any preacher that preach the gospel. If you're preaching the gospel, I stand with any preacher. White or black, red, yellow, blue, green. But we can't ignore the fact that we're dealing with bigots. We can't ignore the fact that we're dealing with bigots. Black folks done sold out. He's right. He's right. Tell me what he like. Ain't nobody saying he hard. There's a lot of people saying he's wrong. There are a lot of people coming and saying both parties is wrong, in which they are. We really shouldn't be involving ourselves with politics of this world. But we do it. We are doing it. Preachers like Geno Jennings and a lot of independent preachers they'll tell you we shouldn't be involved. We shouldn't be voting for neither party. Donnie Swagger is endorsing sin, but he's trying to preach against sin. He's endorsing sin, but yet trying to preach and rebuke sin. How that work? How does that work? You think he gonna sit down and discuss this with somebody with opposite position? Invite the Sheard, Pastor Sheard, or some preachers on that platform to discuss biblical matters. Invite them. The Sheards, Bishop, Coach got a platform. Invite the Swaggers to come and have a round table debate. This is where this stuff is going. It's very heavy. We are very, very divided on this stuff, but it's going that way. The Swaggers had never invited preachers with different views to their platform. They control the narrative. I would like to see more of this. Different views with different preachers with different views on the Bible and stuff come together and have debates. Standing in the pulpit, looking in the cameras, preaching against one another ain't honesty. That you trying to be manipulative. You trying to use manipulation tactics. All Donnie Swagger doing is campaigning against Miss Harris. Now, if you're gonna say, if people gonna say the Democrat preachers are wrong, then why aren't y'all saying the conservative preachers are wrong too? Both of them are wrong. Either both of them are wrong or both of them are right. Either both preachers are wrong or both preachers are right. Which way we gonna have it?